I bring you greetings from one climate leader in Governor Jerry Brown, a governor we recycled in his second time around, to the work you're doing here. And it's an honor to be here in front of people who are making a difference to save the planet and to make the planet that we have better for everyone in it, not just for the rich, but for the poor, for women, minority groups, for people who are disenfranchised, whose voice is not being listened to. And I also bring you apologies for a little election we had in the United States. If you can see up close, you'll see I wear the pin of the great state or Republic of California. A place whose climate leadership, like Germany, is not only about greenhouse gases, which are critically important, but about forest protection, water, indigenous peoples, forests, and all of the things that go together. It's not just climate, it's the entire story. I'd like to use a few minutes to quickly summarize where we are in California and why the next climate conference, hosted by Fiji, is critical to guaranteeing that we are all in on Paris, no matter what you hear about Washington, D.C. As many of you know, in California, we have a series of interrelated climate bills. We have our current climate bill, not as aggressive as in Germany, that brings us back to our 1990 emissions baseline in 2020. We are ahead of schedule for our 2020 goals. Our goal for 2030 is 50% renewable energy, and that only includes solar, wind, geothermal, small-scale hydro. We do not count large hydro. And of course, we do not count nuclear. At one point in California's past, our plan was for a nuclear power plant every 20 miles along the coast. We are closing our last plant a decade early and replacing it with an extra 5% of solar, wind, sustainable biomass, if we have it, geothermal, and small-scale hydro. Diablo Canyon is closing early. The utility that runs Diablo Canyon, our last nuclear power plant, has said they will close it early and they will increase their renewable share by an extra 5%. So, the next piece of the story is that we must get to zero carbon by 2050. Zero, Z-E-R-O. After Mr. Trump did whatever he did in Washington, California voted 2 weeks ago in our state Senate. It is settled law that California's new law is not just 50% renewables in 2030, but 100% renewables in 2045. 100%. That's settled law in the fifth largest economy in the world, California. Our climate law goes further. It does something that I urge you to work on as well, and that is we must keep and accelerate that path to 100% clean energy. But our climate law also says that the revenues from our cap and trade program, we must spend 51% of the revenues in environmental justice areas, in areas where minority groups, women, immigrants are not being served the same way we serve the rich. That's sustainable energy for the planet and for the poor. And what Germany has done and what California has done is to set a high standard. But as I hope you've all heard, we don't amount to much of the world's emissions anymore in Germany and California. So now it's time to change the mandate. It's not, if you want to go fast, you go alone. Now we must go together. And that means partnerships outside the easy areas. It doesn't just mean clean energy in California and Germany. It means partnerships of Germany in sub-Saharan Africa, partnerships with Turkey, partnerships with southeastern Europe in the Balkans, where I work in Kosovo, to defeat a coal plant supported by the World Bank and by the US government. Now, I know you've debated yesterday about what it means to move to not only carbon-free electricity, but also to make transportation clean with electric vehicles, with hydrogen vehicles, and with mode shifting, so that biking and walking to work, not only for rich, comfortable suburbs, but also for areas where this environmental justice issue is critical, so that sustainable communities benefit us all. In some of the poorest parts of Oakland, California, we are building what we call eco-blocks, entire communities committed to 100% renewable energy locally, selling clean power back, recycling all the water, building energy storage into the basements of people's buildings so they can store energy and sell back that clean power off-peak. At the community level, those are ways to make green energy inclusive of the poor. I urge the Green Party here to find ways to do these things that make it not just clean energy and a global mission, but to make it supporting the poorest communities. If we don't make environmental justice equal with climate protection, we don't win for everyone. So in California, we not only have mandates for 1 million solar rooftops by 2020, a goal we'll hit, but 1 million electric vehicles, and now we're debating 2 and 4 million electric vehicles, but also investing more like Germany and Europe in better mass transit, and specifically targeting the poorest communities to make it not just from rich suburb to rich suburb, but for everyone. In my remaining minute, though, I want to challenge you. Yesterday, you talked about green food and the issues about food miles. These issues are co-equal with that 100% clean energy target. If we have green energy at home, but we don't care about the distance food is traveled, around the pesticides, around the fossil fuels to grow it and transport it, we're cheating. We're greening our lives at home, going to farmers markets like I came from in Potsdam, but we're not making it a global mission. As a climate scientist, I also know if we don't make it this collective mission, we suffer the same fate we did on climate for so many years. We make it about something abstract and interesting for the elites, but we don't make clean energy a global good for everyone. That's the challenge for this party. Germany is on a good path. You must accelerate it, but you must broaden these collaborations. My thanks. I wish you well. congratulations for what you're doing, and it's time to accelerate the green energy economy by diversifying it. Thank you so much.